Digital A11Y Insights, your accessibility partner. Accessibility for all, technology for everyone.
Okay, everyone. So I want to understand now that we are introduced to everyone. Okay, I'll quickly understand everyone here are from different parts of accessibility space. So how do you rate all of yourself? Like, is it basic, intermediate, or advanced users? Understanding accessibility, like, WCAG or what about WCAG? Just tell me like quickly. You can switch on your mic and tell, between 1 to 5, how do you rate yourself?
One is lowest.
1 is lowest and 5 is like, you're the expert in it.
Myself is one, or
Okay,
even something below. I am there.
no worries. We'll get you speed up there. Don't worry. Okay, I'll start with the basics. How many of you use screen readers here?
I do.
Yes,
I
yes,
do.
Raghav.
I use NVDA.
Okay,
I also use
and
screen reader, Satish.
how do you rate yourself in screen readers?
Screen reader. I think intermediate. I'm no expert, no, but I can find my way around NVDA, JAWS, and I still try with TalkBack too.
Okay, so if in screen readers, when we use screen readers for accessibility testing, you don't need to know everything, all the features of any screen reader, all the key shortcuts. Can everyone go on
Okay.
mute?
Sure.
Lot of background noise. So one of the thing is you don't have to know everything in a screen reader or the testing methodologies of how to, you know, e- understand everything about a screen reader. You just need to know a few a few keyboard shortcuts to use a screen reader for an accessibility audit, and we'll be using only those during any accessibility testing. We'll not use anything advanced or because a lot of the features that are there are to help people with disabilities who use screen reader navigate web more effectively. But for an accessibility assessment or to perform a test on a web page, it is straightforward, simple, and it's going to contain only few keywords. And we all should know basics of HTML. Even if you don't know a lot of JavaScript and CSS, HTML is must for whoever people who are here on the call. And I'm hoping because I checked with everyone who are here and everyone knows basics of HTML and bit of understand accessibility in one or the other form. So what I'm going to do is today is we'll understand small things about NVDA and we'll see how NVDA works on different elements and understand how it is read. So how this will help us in identifying bugs in the later stage. So I'll move to NVDA.
Welcome to NVDA dialog. OK button. Space. Pressed. Downloads. New tab Google Chrome.
Okay.
New tab. Make Hemitrips. Google document.
So I have NVDA. I'm going to slow it down a little bit.
Rate 80.
I think this is optimal. This is good 80. And NVDA means non-visual desktop access. You can download it from nvaccess.org. And it's a free screen reader. It's only for Windows. Why I'm stressing that is I came across someone who tried installing NVDA on Mac in the past. And it is a screen reader specifically built for Windows operating system. So NVDA is one of the screen reader. There are many screen readers. There's NVDA, which is non-visual desktop access, which is for Windows. There's another one, job access with speech, which is for Windows again. And a lot of blind people like me who are trained and using JAWS since 2000. We use JAWS a lot for our day-to-day work. And for accessibility assessments and audits or testing purposes, we use NVDA. And there's another screen reader called VoiceOver, which is inbuilt in Mac, iOS, and any Apple devices. So every Apple device or Internet of Things like, microwaves or anything that comes from Apple in the future, it is going to have VoiceOver in it. And Google Android ships with something called TalkBack, which is similar like VoiceOver. And there are a lot of other screen readers also. There's, I think, uh, for Linux, there's something called Orca, which is open source, where a lot of people use that. So there are other commercial screen readers and magnification tools. There's a Zoom text, uh, the other magnifier providers. And you might ask, like, these are only screen readers. How do people with mobility impaired use it? They use something called switch devices. A switch device can be either one key or two keys, or it can have there are the devices that if you have recently seen the Apple announcement where the visual VR glasses with a blink of an eye you can move pages. So these are the new technologies that are coming. Earlier there were head wands where you with your movement of your head, and there's eye tracking devices through how you track with eye tracking. You can click, you can create content, and you can do other things. So these all technologies existed. All these technologies right now are being shipped as mainstream products due to the development and revolution in artificial intelligence right now, and how we are processing data and how people are also consuming these new technologies as revolutionize the industry to move forward. Uh, so,
Search combo.
so in NVDA, how many keystrokes do we need to know? So anyone who used NVDA earlier, like this for someone who doesn't know NVDA, when you switch on
Google Drive status window. Busy. Downloads. Google.
when you come on when you switch on NVDA, uh, when you install it, leave it at default options. The only thing you might want to change is the speed. If you're not a regular NVIDIA user, so the initial speed will be good enough for you to go. But as you get used to it, you might want to increase the speed because it speaks very slowly.
Search.
So what I'm going to do is let's see some of the NVIDIA shortcuts. So any web assessment that I come across first, because I'm blind, I see everything from the perspective of blind. There are sighted people here who also perceive the internet from various visual aspects. So for them, there are other tools to identify, and I'm going to uh, show some of these tools how you can identify. Like if, for example, if I'm having headings on the web page, I have to go through the each content section and see if it is labeled as a heading. Whereas there are bookmarklets that will populate all the headings, which you can see visually, and a sighted person can identify which one are not populated as headings, and they can identify the bug very easily. Any questions here till now? And I want this to be engaging because there's no fun if it is not engaging.
It is clear, Raghav. Yeah, understood.
Rashmi, Shiv Suresh, Ratul, Pranita.
No questions.
No. It's clear.
Neha.
So yeah, if you can give us more detail about the switch access thing. So
Switch access is generally used by people who are mobility impaired, as I said, and people I've seen someone who uses switch with their legs, with the which is you know how do I say it? It is very near to their feet where they're operating with their legs thumb. And what happens is at any given point of time, you can do only one tap. Like if I press tab here,
Search by voice button.
it just went forward, correct? Similarly, switch device just can do one thing. Like they can't jump directly to the top of the page. It's a slow, laborious process. Like I know someone who uses a switch device, and like she did a presentation sometime in in a conference, and she's based out of US. I'm not remembering her name on my mind, but she's a blogger. I keep reading her blogs. And someone asked her how much time did it take, because she uses only one thumb to create any content. And she said to further a few PowerPoint slides, it took her 50 hours to create, 50. So you need to
Wow.
understand how much time it's going to take for people who use this alternative technology.
Mm.
NVDA speed is good, or should I slow it down further?
It's good for me.
There are people who are sighted and who has never used. You can put it in chat. Someone monitor the chat and tell me.
Satish, one thing is just enable that speech viewer also, that floating window, so that people will also.
No. So the goal is, what is happening is, you need to understand, you when you do testing, I'm not saying don't do it with speech viewer. The speech viewer is not complete. Like, you don't get the real idea.
Yes. Yes.
There are a lot of sighted people they use. Sometimes what happens is the screen reader is saying something, but speech viewer will definitely show you what is there on the screen. And I come across this one, like when you add content and remove content with status messages, and when a div disappears and there's just nothing, the button has nothing. There are a lot of things. Will show speech viewer, but I want people to have a realistic experience of how people test it, because it's going to make a huge difference of how they approach testing. If sighted people disagree, they can put it in the chat.
So do generally people keep their speech viewer on? Because I never do that. So mm, people
Yes,
generally use it. Okay.
yes, people always. I have worked with a lot of site assistants, and they all keep their speech viewer on.
Yes,
Yes, they like
right.
I've seen a lot of
Even I
people.
have also seen that.
So I asked them like, why you want to do this? Because see, for them, they say that this is the only option where they can like depend on.
Yeah. So that's there. And other thing is, they get fatigue. Like, I've met sighted people. What they do is, when they switch on the screen reader, what they do is they take their computer volume to 0, and they only rely on the speech viewer.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens is, when I ask them, they say we get tired. So what we call this as screen reader fatigue. Problem is, when you hear the robot voice for a X amount of time, you get tired. Just 1 minute. Okay, let's continue.
2126.
Okay, so I have NVDA on. So how many keystrokes you should know? So anyone who is sighted, write these down. Anyhow, we'll also collect these as a cheat sheet and add it. The first, open any web page. So we are using NVIDIA to test web pages here. You can use you can test softwares or anything, your desktop apps, but they work very differently when it comes to web. So since we are concentrating on web accessibility, let's just focus on this aspect of web accessibility. The first keystroke that you need to remember is Control Home, because any web page you open, you need to go to the top of the web page, which is where the skip link is, or whichever element is on the top, which is Control Home. So if I'm right now,
Button search by voice.
I'm over here, but if I want to go to the top of the page, I'm going to press Control and Home.
Link Gmail opens a new tab.
That's the first link or element in this page, and my focus shifted there. This is the first keystroke you need. This other one is Control End.
Blank. Clickable. Clickable menu button collapsed sub menu set. Blank.
That is, it says blank at the end. So how do I, if it says blank, what I did is I just pressed up arrow.
Clickable. Clickable menu button collapsed sub-menu settings.
So that is the last element in the page. Control home, control end. To go to the top of the page, control home. To go to the end of the page, control end. And once I go to the top of the page,
Link Gmail opens a new tab.
I'm going to do a series of tests here. So and I'm sure all screen reader users are aware of most of these shortcuts, but this is for sighted people. So you need to press first T.
No next table.
If you press T, the screen reader will say there are no tables. I'm going to slow down NVDA a little bit.
Rate 75, rate 70.
And
no next table. No next table.
So if there is a table, my focus will move to the table. I'm going to show that in the later, but let's understand how the keystrokes work. And if I press R,
no next radio button.
It says no next radio button. I'm going to press it again.
No next radio button.
And if I press X,
no next checkbox. No next checkbox.
R is for radio buttons, X is for checkbox, T is for tables. And I'm going to press C.
Search landmark search combo box collapsed has auto-complete multi-line editable search.
So when I press C, I'm going to go to the top of the page.
Link Gmail opens a new tab.
I'm pressing C again. Concentrate on hearing it while all the sighted people are focused on seeing the element on the screen. Concentrate on hearing it, what it's going to say.
Search landmark search combo box collapsed has auto-complete multi-line editable search.
I'll do it once more, repeat it.
Link Gmail. Search landmark search combo box collapsed has auto-complete multi-line editable search.
It gave a lot of information. It told it's a combo box. It has autocomplete. You can edit. That means there is information over there that we can use. And we're going to use all this information. I'll tell you how. And I'm going to go back to the top of the page.
Link Gmail.
If I have to go to I found a combo box. Now if I press E, let's see what happens.
Search landmark search combo box collapsed has auto-complete multi-line editable search.
Again, it went to the combo box if I press T. So there are two differences. In HTML, there are combo boxes and text fields. Even in custom elements, like any element that you build custom using custom JavaScript and divs and spans and ARIA, when you press C, it goes to the combo box. When you press E, it goes to the edit fields, text fields. So E is for edit. That means any area where you can edit content. Like in this space, I can edit content. So I've come to the field. I'm going
Link
to
search landmark search combo box collapsed has auto-complete multi-line editable search.
I'm going to press enter.
Search combo box collapsed has auto-complete multi-line editable blank.
And I can edit it here.
D.
Because it said editable. If you have observed, even in combo box, it said combo box autocomplete editable. So that's editable. The word editable is a hint that a particular field can be edited. And if it is the edit field, it will go there. Focus will go to that edit field. There might be some text fields that have disabled. We'll show those examples also as we progress forward.
Hello blank
So
unselected.
I'm going to press escape. I'm going to
Link Gmail.
okay. Then we have something called landmarks. Landmarks are something that you'll not see on a web page, but they are in the code. And the web page is broken into header, footer, main region, complementary. Remember this: header, footer, main region, complementary. And if you used HTML in the past, you'll see header tag, footer tag, aside, and main tag. And similarly in ARIA is also there. We'll come to ARIA at the later stage. ARIA means accessible rich internet application. And to go to any landmark, press D.
Search landmark clickable.
See, there is a search landmark.
No next landmark.
There are no other landmarks. So if I have to show you,
New tab Google. Make image D-I-T-A-Y-Y-O-M. M unselected. Slash S-E. Blank S slash S blank S blank. Digitala 11Y dot. Digital A11Y bullet your access.
I'm going to the top of the page now.
Clickable link skip to content.
I'm pressing T.
Banner landmark digital A11Y visited link.
Set banner landmark, which is the header.
Primary navigation landmark list with 6 items home visited link current page.
This is the navigation landmark. You have role equals to navigation or nav tag in HTML. If you use HTML, it's nav, NAV.
Search landmark search for.
This is a search landmark.
Main landmark digital A11Y logo graphic.
This main landmark.
Content info landmark services heading level 2.
So these are all the landmarks that are there. And if you have observed, footer is read as content info. And a side landmark will be read as complementary. Any questions still here?
For me, no questions, Raghava. It's clear.
Neha?
No, I'm good. I understand what you have said so far.
I'm good, Raghu.
Okay. So
Good list.
So we covered landmarks, we covered edit fields, tables, checkboxes, radio buttons, and combo boxes. Now what we'll do, on any page that I come across,
Clickable.
I navigate it using arrow keys first. You might ask, why arrow keys? When we do a real audit of a web page, you'll understand how crucial arrow keys become important and how there's a difference of how keyboard tabbing and arrow keys bring a lot of difference. So when we do an example audit, you'll understand. So I'm going to just do a down arrow of all the things here.
Link search for images. Clickable button collapsed Google Apps.
If you observed, it says collapsed.
Button Google account. Raghavendra Satish Perry. Graphic Google. Search combo box expanded has autocomplete. Button search by button search by image. Trending searches. Button Google search. Button I'm feeling lucky. Button give feedback on this button Google search. Button I'm feeling lucky. Unlabeled graphic to search. Button Google search. Button give feedback on button I'm feeling lucky. Button Google search.
Have you anyone observed that?
Trending searches. Button Google search. Button I'm feeling lucky. Button give feedback on this result. Button Google search. Button I'm feeling lucky. Unlabeled graphic to get missing image. Link sign up to join user research studies. Google offered in. Link. Sign up link. Search landmark I'm feeling lucky button. Google search button. Give feedback on this. I'm feeling Google search by image button.
So when twice Google search came, I was confused initially. So what I'm going to do is, first thing is every page that you come across, you use down arrow and navigate because you understand the structure of the page. And when you hear content, I'll take one example.
New tab Google. Make him KEMYTRIPC. A. Select KEMYTRIPC. Make him a trip. Make my trip number 1. Clickable graphic make my trip. No next edit. Clickable graphic make. Link hotels. Clickable from Dell. From. Combo box expanded. From edit has auto complete. Combo departure for travelers in class. Depart Thursday blank. Thursday August 3rd 2023.
So here you all see Thursday. So I skipped a lot of things here. I just want to show how arrow keys can and how tab key is very different. So I'm at Thursday, this one.
Departure for Aug 23 Friday edit focused read only selected Thursday August.
Yes.
There's an overlay screen here like an advertisement. So unless that's closed, I won't be able to like see the screen. Are you working on?
Good, you brought that up. So everyone realized that blind people never even realize that there's a screen like that, which is a banner or advertisement banner or a cookie banner or something. We never even experienced that. And that is the first thing that, if I've come across using arrow keys, I would have come across it. And now I know that it is there. I know where to find it because I'm experienced in understanding. Mostly it will be
Clickable. Notification frame B8 to 68C.
it is in the footer. I did control home.
Out of frame clickable content info land notification frame B8 to 6 out of frame clickable.
So
Clickable main landmark next button. No next button. Clickable next month button. Mainland next button. Previous next get app link previous next previous next clickable. Forex at bet order now.
what is the banner about, Monica?
It's just like um, it talks about the sale thingy, and it has a I think it has a call to action button too.
Can you
Which
name the
now.
button?
Yeah, it says explore now.
Explore now.
I think you were
Clickable
on-
main landmark next button. Previous next button. Previous get app link next button. Previous next previous click no previous button. Table with row 1 column head.
That banner cannot be closed.
No, I think you were on it earlier, like a few minutes. I mean, a few
I think it's
seconds.
a poorly coded modal dialogue.
Out of table clickable.
So it's
Notification
supposed to
frame
trap
B8 to 60.
focus, but it
Travelers in
doesn't.
class 1 traveler economy / departure for combo box expanded.
So you are under the page, you are interacting with content that is outside of the page. That's why. I think that's why you can't get to it.
Yeah, I can't see that model at
Yes.
all. I can't see that model.
It's there. It's a modal.
Yes,
A
it's a
poorly
model.
coded modal dialogue.
This is why I go with arrow keys, because if you see that particular content, entire content, whatever cited people are able to see, which is a model, it can be a model dialogue, it can be an advertisement banner. Generally, these banners should follow a pattern, like where they are in the page. They should not cover, like there should be a mechanism for us to close it, correct? They should not cover the entire page.
Clickable. Notification frame B8. Make my trip. Graphic make my trip. Banner heading level 2. Clickable list.
I don't know. It did not.
It's a
link flights.
It's a link, Ravindra, and
Okay.
it is not having any
It's
label.
closed now.
It's closed,
I think-
correct?
No, it took you to a
Yes,
different.
yes.
page
The modal is closed. Now you're on the page.
No next edit field. No next out of list clickable. Content in heading level table with 4 rows and 7. No previous out of
That's
no
when you
next
were on a
edit field.
different page, like on the
Okay.
main page, you move to a different tab.
Banner
now.
landmark graphic list with 6 items stays link.
Okay.
Make my trip
It
graphic
opened
list.
a new page after
Make my trip number 1 travel website
interacting with the modal.
clickable graphic clickable from
Again, it came.
Yeah, but then you're
Yes.
back to homepage now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Again, that model
Page
came.
title. Can you just say the page title, Raghav?
make my trip number 1 travel.
Problem is, Make My Trip has all page titles same almost.
Yeah.
They don't change. Why I took this website is it fails at multiple levels that you can't access any part of the content.
Honestly.
yeah, sure.
So yeah. So what happens is, this is why I say use arrow keys and see the page, because there is content, like as cited people, you might see something that is not read to the screen readers, and there will be a content that is not there which will be read to the screen readers. Okay, when you come across such scenario, write it down. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Write it down, because that is a failure. And we will come to whether it is a failure or how to assess it, whether it is a failure or not at a later stage. First, write it down. Okay. And every page, when you go, tap to every page.
Clickable graph.
Like
navigation. Hotels.
You tab and see every element is able to get tap focus.
Homestay.
When I say element, it should be only links and form elements. A form element can be a text field, a button, a combo box, a radio button, a checkbox, and a link is a link
Holiday.
where you can click the link and it takes you to a different page. only these elements should get tab focus, not paragraph content. A lot of sighted people that I come across think, they tab and like, oh, the entire blog post misses tab focus. And they're like, oh, how do blind people read? No, we use arrow keys to read static content, like paragraphs, headings. We use arrow keys, tables. Any questions still here?
No, Raghava.
No, Raghav.
Raghav.
The once you tap, and what happens is some elements will not get tapped. Like you go to a link, it will not. You can see with a mouse that it is a link, but when you use keyboard and just press tab. So when you press tab,
Trains link.
I'll show it to you.
Make my trip. Digital A11.
So
Link skip to content. Banner landmark. Primary navigation landmark list with 6 items. Home visited link. About link. Articles visited link.
you see that? If I go to
Main landmark.
landmark,
Ask a question link. Explore the blog visited link. Explore WCAG link. Explore ARIA visited link. Explore tools link. What is the difference between ADA and Section 508? Graphic link. Compliance link. What is the difference between ADA and Section 508? Link heading level 2.
you press tab. Once this tab thing is done, there will be links or buttons or elements that will not get tab focus. As I said, which is paragraph, tables, headings, which is static content that are not interactive. Only interactive elements should get. Whatever you're able to do with mouse, you should be able to do it with keyboard. To move forward, press tab. To move backward, press shift tab.
Compliance link. What is the difference between ADA and Section?
So you should be able to tap to an element and you should be shift tab to an element. Move forward and backward. And there should not be any stops. Like, you go to a particular element and it will not allow you to move forward from there or backward from there. Write it down. We're not discussing failures. I'm just saying what we are going to do in the testing methodology. And you go to the, again, top of the
Links.
page and see how many headings are there on the page.
Main landmark. Find everything you need to know about accessibility heading level 1.
That's a heading level 1. And how did I come across? The keystroke is H key. H for headings. It's easy to remember. Okay. Just go to any web page and press H. You see the headings. And you know how many headings are there. And headings are from H1 to H6. The hierarchy is that.
Understanding WCAG heading level 4. Understanding ARIA heading level 4. Accessibility tools heading level 4. Accessibility articles heading level 3. What is the difference between ADA and Section 508? Link heading level 2. Creating inclusive web design. Unveiling user habits and addressing timeout modals. How inclusive web design affects user experience. Link heading level 2.
So what happens is the heading levels are exposed to screen reader, like it says whether it is heading level 2 or a heading level 3, and it reads out whatever the heading is. Just focus on that for now. Okay. Again, you go back to the top of the page. This is specifically for screen reader users. This is the easiest thing we can do. Because when we do down arrow for screen reader users, for sighted people, there are tools. I'm going to showcase it in the next session we do. And those tools make your life much easier, much faster. Like you can just glimpse at a page and see which are headings, which are not headings, and you can identify them. For screen reader users, there's no choice. You have to press down arrow, go through the entire page once, and either you can make a notes or in your notepad or somewhere, and then come back. What happens is, let's just say that you think this is a heading for a X content, but you don't hear the heading level. Right, you can write that down somewhere. So first read all the headings on the page, get the structural idea. And the next is images. So any image that is there on the page, if you press G.
Main landmark digital A11Y logo graphic. What is the difference between ADA and Section 508? Graphic link. Creating inclusive web designs, unveiling user habits and accessibility needs graphic link.
So if you press G, it will go to every graphic element on the page. That is informative only. So there are images that are coded differently, like decorative, informative, complex. We will cover each of those subjects in the images, and we'll go in depth into code and other things also, how to make them accessible and how to create a decorative, how to label them, all that at a later stage. But this is how you identify the graphics on the page. And screen reader uses always small, interesting.
Links.
So if we don't want to press H multiple times or something, screen reader users generally what they do is to read the entire page, why press down arrow one by one. You can slow down the screen reader. There's a shortcut called insert down arrow.
Link skip to content. Banner landmark visited link digital A11Y. Primary navigation landmark list with 6 items visited link current page home. Link about. Visited link articles. Link resources link button expand child menu of resources. Link contact. Search landmarks.
So without my intervention, it reads the entire page when I press insert down arrow. From wherever my current focus is, from there. Okay.
Out of.
And you need to remember one more shortcut key is L. If I press L, listen what happens.
Banner landmark primary navigation landmark list with 6 items home visited link current page.
It says a list of 6 items. That means I understand there are 6 items in that particular area. And if I press tab or if I use down arrow, I'll come across 6 items there. So it's called list items. If you use ULLI and any list technique, this will come. Even we will explore some of the technique and we'll explore the examples also in the next sessions. So these are the keystrokes. These are like 90% of the keystrokes that we are going to use. Arrow keys, up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, left arrow, and each of these headings, lists, links we come across, we'll go through. And screen reader users have another technique. If they press in NVDA, insert F7.
Elements list dialog, tree view, level 0 home, visited 3 of 67.
So this is a elements list. So this particular dialog box lists all the headings, form controls that are there on the page, links that are there on the page. So we can filter them.
Type, grouping, links radio button checked Alt plus K. Headings radio button checked Alt plus H. Form fields radio button checked Alt plus F. Buttons radio button checked Alt plus B. Landmarks radio button checked Alt plus D.
So you can use, even sighted people can use this quickly to see what kind of landmarks are there, what headings are there, what is not marked up. This is also a quick way to identify how. So generally, according to the user experience that I know, in my past career, I have done a lot of search optimization. It is recommended that you don't have more than 100 links on the web page and you have X amount of headings, content, and X amount of images. Keep it, don't make the page a lot scrollable than required. So there are some techniques. So most of the pages that we come across are that way. Other than, there are pages that are sales related or land, which they call landing pages. They are like, they go like 30 pages, 40 pages explaining about product testimonials, why it is required. So very rarely you'll come across something like that. So in that case, for small pages, this is very helpful. This dialog, you just filter out, you see
Buttons radio
how
button,
many buttons.
cancel button, move to button Alt, activate button, filter by, tree view, search 2 of 4 left, sign up 3 of, scroll to top 4.
So those are the 3 only buttons that are there on the web page. I'm going to press escape to close it. Any questions still here? I'm going to stop now.
No questions, Raghava. Yeah,
And let me
we'll
stop the
practice.
recording.
If you like the video, do like and subscribe.